Bobo, I don't know how you and I made it up here. We got here, we've gone from the dean's office to the stage. So I want to thank the Scotsman Club and the Alumni Association for the award. If you didn't know, if you hadn't ever met Mike Turner, I called him Grumpy for years because I think that was the persona that he wanted to portray. But nobody loved PC more than Mike Turner. I've told people all the time, nobody loves PC more than me. Excuse me. People love it as much, but not more. And Brad, I'm one of those choke up guys too. Bob, if you didn't see Phyllis's look, the surprise look, that was called the stink eye. I get it quite a bit from Allison. I want to tell you a love story. Started over 40 years ago. I had been accepted at Wake Forest at Thanksgiving of my senior year in high school. My mom and dad are both Wake Forest graduates. I started going to Wake Forest when I was 4 or 5 years old. I went to Boys State there. I knew what dorm I was going to live in. My immediate future was set. My football career was over. It had ended in the playoffs of my senior year in high school. And it was in February. So I'd been accepted since Thanksgiving. It was February, and I was on my way to a basketball game when I answered a phone call. And the voice on the phone said, "This is Coach Bob Strock from Presbyterian College." And I know Coach Strock's here, and I'm glad he's here. And he invited me to come down for a football tryout. And it was a cold day in Old Bailey. And I had a pretty good tryout. And Coach Strock had me in his office. Now, his office in Old Springs, when we used to dress in Springs, was about the size of that piano. Coach Strock leaned over his desk and looked at me, and he said, "I know you've always wanted to go to Wake Forest." But he said, "Are you going to wake up 10 years from now and say, could I have played college football?" He had me. He's laughed at me for over 40 years because he said, "I got you." He's told me that over and over and over again. I got you. The love story started. Football, golf, my teammates, Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity, my brothers, Coach Galt, Coach Strock, Coach Jackson Perry. The English department, yes, I am an English major. Now, I had Alan King told me one time, he said, "Mr. Churm, are you taking notes?" I said, "Mr. King, I'm writing down everything that's important." He said, "Mr. Churm, everything I say is important." And as a football player, they told me, get the heck out of his class because he hates jocks. He ended up being my advisor. Neil Prater one time told me if I was going to commit suicide before his final exam, just let him know so he didn't bother grading my paper. And I told him that I was going to make an A on my Shakespeare final. He said, "I'll find a period upside down if I must." You know, the English department is a pretty special place at PC, and Dr. Thompson came along after me, but I designed satellite systems for the Army, so that's a pretty good deal for an English major from Presbyterian College. That's a big stretch on the Swiss Army knife. The ROTC department, Colonel Dewey Cameron. "Come here, stud." You need to sign up for ROTC. And I'm glad Brigadier General Rick Porter's here today. Another part of that ROTC department. But they're all parts of this love story. On the steps of Greenville Dining Hall, there was a freshman girl that had this thing around her neck with her beanie on that said, Allison, Camden, South Carolina. I live in Clinton dorm, and here's my phone number. Of course, being here as football players, we thought, we got firsthand. 37 years. That was longer than 37 years ago, but she's been putting up with me for 37 years. The Blue Host daughter, Anna Brooks, who I tried to get to go look at Wofford, but I'll never tell that in public again. But she said, no, I'm going to PC. A son, Will, who got recruited as a football player by several schools. And we were coming back from a recruiting visit, and he said, Dad, I want to go to school at PC. I don't care about the rest, but I want to go to school at PC. I did have one that got away, and she went to Clemson, but that's okay. But those are all parts of the love story. We used to tailgate under the tree out there between the fraternity houses and the stadium the 7 years that I had a child here. We used to bring a truckload of food, but by the time they went to the stadium and back from the stadium, all we had was trash. All part of the love story. While we live, we serve. The absolute privilege to serve this institution that I love so much. Again, all part of this wonderful love story. I've been fortunate to live 75 miles in North Augusta and now in Clover from Clinton so that I'm able to be here, and I like to be here as much as I can. All those boards, the Parents' Council, Alumni Board, the Board of Visitors, they're all part of this love story. The Scotsman Club especially, because I'm an athlete. I was an athlete, sorry, Will. Especially the Scotsman Club, because athletics are a big part of Presbyterian College and a big part of this love story. I'm proud to represent the Scotsman Club with this honor. Thank you.